Our Father, who art in heaven.
Yes.
Don't interrupt me, I'm praying.
But you called me.
Called you? I didn't call you. I'm praying. Our Father, who art in heaven.
There, you did it again.
Did what?
Called me. You said, Our Father, who art in heaven. Here I am. What's on your mind?
But I didn't mean anything by it. I was just, saying my prayers for the day. I always say the Lord's Prayer. Makes me feel good. Kind of like getting the job done.
All right, go on.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hold on. What do you mean by that?
By what?
By hallowed be thy name.
It means, well, good grief, I don't know what it means. How should I know? It's a part of the prayer. By the way, what does it mean?
It means honored, holy, wonderful.
Ah, well, that makes sense. I never thought about what hallowed meant before. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Do you really mean that?
Of course. Why not?
Well, what are you doing about it?
Doing? Well, nothing, I suppose. I just think it would be rather good if you got control of things down here like you do up there.
Have I got control of you?
Well, I go to church.
That's not what I asked you. What about your bad temper? You've really got a problem there, you know. Then there's the way you spend your money, all on yourself. And what about the kind of books that you read?
Stop picking on me. I'm just as good as some of those hypocrites down at the church.
Excuse me. I thought you were praying for my will to be done. If that is to happen, it will have to start with the ones who are praying for it. Like you, for example.
Oh, all right. I guess I do have a few hang-ups now that you mention it. I could probably name a couple others.
So could I.
I haven't thought about it very much till now, but I really would like to cut out some of those things. I would like to, be really free.
Good. Now we're getting somewhere. We'll work together, you and I. Some victories can truly be won. I'm proud of you.
Look, Lord, I really need to finish up here. This has taken a lot longer than usual. Give us this day our daily bread.
You should actually cut out the bread. You're a little bit overweight as it is.
Wait a minute. What is this, criticize me day? Here I was, doing my religious duty, and all of a sudden, you break in and remind me of all my hang-ups.
Well, praying is a dangerous thing, you know. You could wind up changed, you know. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. You called me, and here I am. It's too late to stop now. Keep on praying. I'm interested in the next part of your prayer. Well, go on.
I'm scared.
Scared? Of what?
Well, I know what you'll say.
Try me and see.
Forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors.
What about Bill?
See, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were going to bring him up. Why, Lord, he's told lies about me, cheated me out of money. He never paid back the debt he owes me, and I've sworn to get even with him.
But your prayer. What about your prayer?
I didn't mean it.
Well, at least you're honest. But it's not much fun carrying that load of bitterness around inside, is it?
No. But I'll feel better as soon as I get even. Boy, have I got some plans for old Bill. He'll wish he never did me any harm.
You won't feel any better. You'll feel worse. Revenge isn't sweet. Think of how unhappy you already are. But I can change all of that.
You can? How?
Forgive Bill. Then I'll forgive you. Then the hate and sin will be Bill's problem and not yours. You may lose the money, but you will have settled your heart.
But Lord, I can't forgive Bill.
Then I can't forgive you.
Oh, you're right. You always are. And more than I want revenge on Bill, I want to be right with you. All right. I forgive him. Help him to find the right road in life. Lord, he's bound to be awfully miserable now that I think about it. Anybody who goes around doing the things he does to others has to be really mixed up inside. Some way, somehow, show him the right way.
There now. Wonderful. How do you feel?
Well, not bad. Not bad at all. In fact, I feel quite tremendous. You know, I don't think I'll have to go to bed tense tonight for the first time since I can remember. Maybe I won't be so tired from now on because I'm not getting enough rest.
You're not through with your prayer, though. Go on.
Oh, all right. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Good. I'll do just that. Just don't put yourself in the place where you can be tempted.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, change some of your friendships. Some of your so-called friends are beginning to get to you. They'll have you completely involved in wrong things before long. Don't be fooled. They advertise that they're having fun, but for you it would be ruin. Don't use me for an escape hatch.
I don't understand.
Oh, yes, you do. You've done it a lot of times. You get caught in a bad situation, you get into trouble, and then you come running to me. Lord, help me out of this mess, and I promise I'll never do it again. You remember some of those bargains you tried to make with me?
Yes. And I'm ashamed. I really am.
Which bargain are you remembering?
Well, when the woman next door saw me coming out of the local pub, I told my mother I was going to the shop. I remember telling you, oh God, don't let her tell my mother where I've been. I promise I'll be in church every Sunday.
She didn't tell your mother, but you didn't keep your promise, did you?
No. I'm sorry, Lord, I really am. Up until now, I thought praying was enough. I didn't really expect you to answer like this.
Go ahead, finish your prayer.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Do you know what would bring me glory? What would really make me happy?
No, but I'd like to know. I want now to please you. Now I can see how good it would be to be a real follower of you.
You just answered the question.
I did?
Yes. The one thing that would bring me glory is to have people like you truly love and follow me. And I see that happening between us. Now that some of these old sins are exposed and out of the way, well, there's no telling what we can do together.
Lord, let's see what we can make out of it, okay?
Yes, let's see. You just never know what will happen when you start to pray. But you better mean what you say, because God will hold you accountable. the CD. And the first verse is actually written about an actual young mother of 3 little boys.
Thank you.
Her name was Kristen Versofovich, and a couple of years ago she lost her battle with cancer. I never got to meet her actually, only through Facebook and email. But following her story, we had some common associates and friends. And hearing her story, she was, the first time the doctor spoke cancer, I don't even think she was 30. And she had a rare type of kidney cancer, and they went in and removed the kidney, and everything seemed to be okay. And a couple of years later, it came back and affected the brain. And it eventually took her life. But she lived in Edmonton, and Edmonton has one of the top 10 things in Canada that Reader's Digest says it's one of the top 10 things to see before you die, and that's the singing Christmas tree. And for a couple of years, she was one of the lead singers as part of the Christmas tree. And I forget, I think it was 2013 or 2014. Remember Ruben Stoddard? He was the American Idol winner. Well, they brought him in to be part of the tree. So she got to sing with him, and there were a few other more or less famous people that they brought in that she got to sing with and whatever as well. But Kristen loved Christmas. And her pastor, Pastor Bob Jones of North Point Assembly in Edmonton, says that when she decorated her Christmas tree, there was a story behind every single ornament that was on her tree. She could tell you when she got it, where she got it, the reason she got it, and everything. But when the doctor spoke cancer, she basically said, you know what? God, I don't know if you're going to heal me, but I know you can. But I want my life to live to honor you. I want my life to reflect you no matter what this outcome is. And through her whole ordeal, she reflected back to Jesus. It didn't matter what kind of a day she was having. Whenever somebody come to see her, she always put on a smile. She always had a great time. When they left, sometimes the pain was unbearable, she'd cry. But she was always upbeat and bubbly while she was there. And that song was kind of came from a blog that she wrote, that I don't know what God's plan is, why he allowed this to happen to me, but no matter what, I know he can heal me, and if he never does, then that's okay, because I know he can, and I just want to serve him all the more, even if he doesn't. Well, he did, because he gave her a body that'll never be sick anymore. And there's a number of people who have heard that song and have come to me and said, that song helped me get through, and they describe whatever it was. And just sums up Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that aren't seen. We know God can. Will he the way we think? He'll always do, but will it be the way that we think? It's sometimes our thinking that gives the impression, well, God can't do it. Well, no, God can, but will he? This next song, for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in a row around Easter time, I wrote a song. This was one of the first ones in the Easters. I wrote it back in 2012. And it's called There Goes the King of Kings. And it talks about Jesus' last week from him entering triumphantly to the same crowd calling out, "Crucify him." And it says, "There goes the King of Kings." And then at the end, it talks about, "Here comes the King of Kings," when he comes back to collect his own on the clouds of glory, which we sang about earlier. You walk the road to Jerusalem. Love and most, yet hated by few. They brought to you gold to ride on and wait on. keeping with kind of the theme of Jesus dying and for our sins and being rose again. This next song is entitled Not My Will But Thine, and it's based on the prayer Jesus prayed. Father, if there's any way this cup can pass from me, do it, but not my will, but thine be done. This bread is my body, this cup is my blood broken and spilled for you. Jesus shared a final meal with friends and taking those closest to him went to the garden to pray. winding down or winding up. I'm not sure which statement is true, but this is the song that's the single on the disc that's in the envelope. And we actually lived this song. Life is but a vapor, here one moment, gone the next. In April of 2017, we did a concert, all of the Breaking Out band, and Butch was over here behind me playing his guitar. The best we had ever heard him play, and he was always fantastic. After the concert, somebody said to him, "You really played great." And he looked them straight in the eye. I was standing right there. He looked them straight in the eye and he said, "The next time you hear me play, it'll be heaven." Within 7 days, he was gone. And the last year and a half of his life was just incredible. It was a wonder he survived as long as he did. He rode a motorcycle.
Harley.
A Harley. It had to be a Harley. And coming home one night, he lived down a long road, and going down through, there was a deer that cut across, and he ditched the bike and come up out of the ditch. Don't know how.
On the third try.
On the third try.
He asked God 3 times.
But he had a cell phone in his pocket. And there were girls, it was there was a provincial park just before you got to his road to turn off. There was a provincial park, which is where he went off the bike. And they seen the glow of the phone. Well, when he pulled out the phone the next couple days later, there was no power to this phone. It was in pieces, basically. He says, "I don't know how they ever saw light emit from this thing." He said, "This thing hasn't turned on since I got in the ambulance."
But we know.
But it is true. We don't know. We're here now. We might not be here at 9 o'clock. And it's only 10 minutes away. But when I originally wrote this song, it wasn't written about Butch. It was written about another gentleman in our community who was out ducking. And he had his 12-gauge shotgun with him, and he slipped. The gun went down, and luckily he put his hand up. He lost his hand, and he lost the sight in his eye, and he had the BBs from the 12-gauge throughout his face. But he survived. And as I was hearing his story and thinking about it, this song came to me. Reach the Lost. We don't know what we have. He went ducking. He expected to go get a couple ducks, come home, and probably pluck them and fry them up for supper. But he came that close to losing his life, and when he talked about it a few days later, he said, "I don't know how I ever got out of there." He said, "It's only by the grace of God I stand before you." And he wasn't a believer. He kind of is a believer now. He's like, there has to be a God because I'm still living. But it's our job to go reach the lost. Jesus said, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel." We don't know how long we have. We all plan for tomorrow and next week and next month and next year or 10 years down the road. We're planning. But we're not guaranteed our next breath. And that's what this song talks about. Jesus gave us the message that we're to go and deliver to reach the lost. That's the right sound. This, I think, second to last song. Yep. I wrote about my brother. It's the last track that's on the CD. And he passed away in 2005 of cancer at the age of 24. And that's the name of the song, The Age of 24. And as I was thinking about it, he passed away on August the 3rd, and on August the 5th, Julian was born.
Yeah.
So it was...
And Julian looks exactly like Michael.
yes, he does. Where is what I'm looking for? That was a week I remember very little about. I put on over 800 kilometers going from downtown Edmonton to Sherwood Park. Back to downtown Edmonton, back to Sherwood Park. My parents were in Sherwood Park, Brandy was in the hospital in downtown Edmonton, and we just lived up from downtown Edmonton at the time. But I was at my parents' a couple of weeks ago. My mom said, it'll be 13 years for your brother. You think you could do up something? For the first number of years, I wrote a little blurb, and she published it in the Sherwood Park News. And then on the 10th, coming up to the 10th anniversary, I wrote this song back in 2015, The Age of 24. This year I wrote, Your Memory's a Teenager. And I wanna read it. I just wrote this on the 10th, this is the 20th, so 10 days ago. It says, I can't believe your memory is a teenager. That 13 years ago cancer made you say goodbye. Seems like just yesterday we were riding our bikes around town. And we were building forts up in the woods. Can it really be that long ago? I often wonder who you'd be. If cancer hadn't taken you so young, who would you have married? Would you have sons or daughters? But speculation is all we have because your memory is a teenager this year. Life goes on, the young get old, new ones are born, life gets hectic, but we'll never forget. We'll never forget the impact you left. It is still felt by so many. Your memory lives on by more than just us. After all, it's a teenager now, you know. We lose people, but do we ever truly lose them? Their memory lives on. My brother referred to himself as just a fellow. He released a CD back in 2004, 2005, before he passed away, and it was entitled Just a Fellow. Question 42, answer life. I forget what it was called now. Question, life, answer 42. It was a play on words that he had, but he referred to himself as just a fellow, but he was more than just a fellow. You left this world at the age of 24. Cancer had taken the life out of you. With one final breath, you passed on. Never Whenever we did a breaking out concert, we always close with this song. Yeah. Even when we didn't want to. There's one time we almost got lynched because they said, we're not doing that this time. We ended up doing it. But it's I'll Fly Away. And I know everybody knows this one. So we're going to get you to stand. Yeah, I can't send everybody out of here in tears at the age of 24. I won't be allowed back. But I think everybody pretty much knows this one. Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away. didn't plan an encore, did we?
No.
Go for it.
That's good.
Back to the beginning.
Sure, that's great.
No.
Dear Lord, we thank you. We thank you that we can gather together, we can sing praises to you, we can offer our talents to you, and Lord, we just ask that you accept them as a pleasing sacrifice this evening. Lord, we thank you for everybody that's come out. We ask that you give them traveling mercies on their way home. We ask that you protect them, that you would draw them closer to you than ever before. And Lord, that they would renew their faith, whatever they're facing. We might not know what the outcome will be, but we know who holds the outcome.
Amen.
And Lord, may we draw closer and closer to you, knowing that you've got everything under control. Lord, we thank you for the ability to be able to do this. And Lord, we just ask that it goes forward and that your name gets declared. Lord, we ask all of this in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
We want to thank everybody for coming. I especially want to thank Anne for coming all the way from Lockport. I think that means you're allowed back. Probably expected to be
Thank you
back.
for such a warm welcome. Thank you.
When we did our gospel sing back in April, I was advertising it on Facebook and everything, and Anne kept messaging, I want to be there, but I can't be there for this, and this. And I said, well, when can you come? So she gave some dates. One was the Father's Day weekend. Well, we scratched that. And then the other one was this one. So we've been anticipating this since April.
Yes.
And we haven't played together since December 31st. And
I was a little bit scared we wouldn't have anything.
I think we did okay for not having anything for 7 months.
Maybe it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Like once you learn, you don't forget.
Yeah.
But we've been playing together now for almost 7 years.
Yes, yes, we have.
And I think every time we play, we get better.
I'd say that, but that people might say that's conceited.
Well, it's biased.
We had a good teacher too.
But we do want to thank everybody for coming. And if she ever does get back this way, we'll be sure to do this again.
Yeah, I'm in.
And if you didn't get a CD and you want to hear the music, pick one up on your way out. And spread it around. Don't keep it to yourself. We've got to reach the lost somehow. Whether we sing it, speak it, or live it, or all three. And